It wasn't me, officer. I promise.
Liam Browne, the visionary behind Power Cacao. Renowned for being a yoga teacher and a healer, Liam combines yogic principles with a transformational, ceremonial-grade cacao.
Visionary, like it. Everything you need is within you. It's difficult at the beginning, disgusting, horrendous, traumatic, challenging, and then are you prepared to push through? Do you want to stay average?
Love that. World Health Organization announced that 700,000 people chose to end their lives. Depression's even worse. It's 280 million people worldwide.
I've been there, really wanted to kill myself, and I was in this deep, dark depression. That's why the depression exists. That's why suicide exists.
Is cacao another gimmick?
Coffee's like this drug that you're addicted to. Monster and coffee are the same thing, makes you a little bit anxious, puts you into your fight and flight response. What's beautiful with the cacao is the benefits of it are just phenomenal for women, the gut health, that cognition, that freshness, that breather within your mind if your thoughts are getting out of control, that heart open. Cacao's the only food in the world that has.
Really? Today I'll be speaking to Liam Browne, the visionary behind Power Cacao. Renowned for being a yoga teacher and a healer, Liam combines yogic principles with a transformational, ceremonial-grade cacao. His mission is clear. He wants everybody to switch from their morning coffee or tea to this incredible, potent, magical bean. I'm so thrilled to have him in the studio with me today to talk about its benefits and why he thinks this should be the way forward for everyone. Thank you for coming and holding this space with me.
Nice one. Thanks for having me. What an introduction.
Thank you.
Visionary. Like it.
I think that's you, isn't it?
Maybe, yeah.
Definitely.
Let other people say that.
I've said it. So there you go.
Yeah,
that means
cool.
It's done. It's done, it's done.
Okay, I can use it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just for anybody that's new, that's joining our podcast for the first time, we play things a little bit different here. I've placed some words in our singing bowl, which I played at the beginning. We shared a sacred space and a magical moment there. And now what we'll do is we'll ask you to pick out a word and then we'll talk about that word. I always say that everything happens for a reason. I met you coming out of COVID.
Yeah.
So this is just amazing that we've now got you, and you've been on such a journey since. So I know quite a bit about you, but it's going to be really interesting to see and to share the transition that you've had. So I'm going to just pass the bowl over to your side. If you pick the first one out and we'll see what it says. Amazing. Self-discovery.
Self-discovery.
Ancient scriptures suggest that when we are on our journey of enlightenment, that part of that process, if not the whole process, is self-discovery. And I believe now that we're in a time where people are beginning to realize this and they're interested in becoming the best versions of themselves. And in order to do that, you have to go on that journey. And I'm so intrigued to hear more about your journey of self-discovery. Yeah,
my journey of self-discovery has been massive. But to me, it's that self-realization, which is what the yogic path kind of says. It's path towards self-realization and enlightenment. And it's always about getting rid of things that aren't serving you, and people are scared, but it's always to guarantee that the things that are going to come in afterwards are 100% going to be better. So it's why would you then not get rid of the things that you don't want? Because people are attached to it, people are scared, not got the balls, not got the kind of bravery to just take that little leap of faith, because once you take the leap of faith, the net appears. So self-realization is just going through. It's basically getting rid of all the things that you are not, and revealing yourself to yourself, which sounds a bit like an oxymoron, but that's the path, really. Everything you need is within you. It's just remembering your essence, remembering your soul, remembering past lives, skills, abilities, whatever it is. So yeah, it's for me, that's the yogic path is the strongest thing. It's a scientifically proven path to enlightenment, and more people are jumping on it. It basically all comes back either to Buddhism or to yogic.
Say somebody that's listening now wants to start that journey.
Yeah.
First of all, how do they know that they are ready, or do they need to be ready? And secondly, what's the way forward?
I think everybody's ready. Nobody's operating at 100% at the fullest potential. Most people realize they're ready when they hit rock bottom, or they've got issues or things come up that they're struggling with. For me, depression's a beautiful, beautiful gift, which kind of tells you that your life's out of alignment. It's when I get a little bit something going on, I'm something's got to shift now, something's got to move, and my depression can just shift in a day, and it comes in very rarely anymore. But I was stuck in it for 3 years, And that 3-year process was just me getting rid of the behaviors, the way I was, things that I did, people that I was around, just like cleansing the whole palette.
I've interviewed guests just recently that have had ADHD, and they know when they're kind of on a scale of 1 to 10 of being really high, and when they've got it in control. How do you know when you're depressed? What does your day look like?
When I was depressed, I just didn't feel comfortable in my skin. It was like I was crawling. Like I didn't even, like when I lived in London, I didn't think depression, I thought depression was just a thing for like soft people. Do you know what I mean? It's like Mancunians, we don't get that. I was brought up in a very like racist, xenophobic, just football culture, like very white culture. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I was brought up in. So that was kind of, you become a consequence of your surroundings, then start getting depressed. It was after my mum died, and it was just to be like nothing positive in my past, nothing positive with what was going on in my life now, which made me see nothing positive in my future. So I was like, why the hell do I want to be here? I was just sad all the time. Like I was just totally not comfortable in my body. I was anxious. I got anxiety for the first time, which is horrible. You can't even speak. Do you know what I mean? It's like like if you was to do an audition or something or an interview and you get nervous, it's like being like that all the time. It's like your body's in fight and flight. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're like, oh, and it's not good for your system. It's not, it's poison. It's toxic. It creates illness.
What was the tipping point for you where you realized that, there's a saying that a neuroscientist, Dr. Joe Dispenza, says, and he says, when the old you meets the new you, there's a bit in the middle that's like the unknown, where you have to jump.
Yeah. And that's the scariest
Can you
bit.
Remember that time?
I remember
when
there's a few moments.
Jump?
There's a few moments, but there was one moment where I'd like started the 12 steps of recovery. I'd got caught with a load of drugs. I was looking at going to prison. My mum had died. And then I was doing these 12 steps. I was like, no, I'm not into this. I'm not going to start praying to God. This is all bullshit. Like, I'm not into it. And then it was like, right, well, when you hit rock bottom, you need to come and talk to us. That's when you'll reach out. And I was in this garden. I was doing this rich lady's garden in Richmond. I was working for this girl. I was just like sat there, like the boss had left. So I was just on my own, and I was in this deep, dark depression. And I was sat there with this garden fork, and I was just going to stab it in my heart. I was like, I'm done. I can't handle this. And then I was about to stop. I write about it in my book, actually. It's like,
because you're quite emotional talking about it.
Yeah, but I try and make like it's funny as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like everything can have humor within it. Like the way I tell the story is that like I was about to, I poked into my heart, and then I think my phone went off or something. Like my phone started ringing because I'd reached out to this guy to say, look, I'm fucked and I'm at rock bottom. Like I need assistance. And it was like, vroom, this swarm of people from AA just rang me. What do you need? Like, bro, we're here, been through it, know where you are. Bump, this is the best place to come up from. So that's the way I teach now, is like, when most of my clients or the people who come to my ceremonies are like middle-aged women who've got kids, like lads who are 20 and stuff. And they're like, oh, what do I do? I was like, let him hit rock bottom, man. Because the longer you keep supporting him, helping's the worst thing you can do for people. The longer you're helping, you're detracting them from hitting rock bottom, which is allowing them, which can allow you to come up from. You're just gonna, what do you want them to teeter around at, like just fucking life up for the next 30 years? Or do you want them to hit rock bottom and come out smelling the roses? Like, that's what I always say. It's like, throw me in a load of shit, I will come out smelling the roses. That's the way I've always been.
But it's scary, isn't it? How scary
it's
is
scary,
being
man.
at rock
But what
bottom?
are you allowed to go, what are you prepared to go through? Do you want to stay average, or do you want to be unbelievably amazing? For that, like, all change is difficult at the beginning, disgusting, horrendous, traumatic, challenging in the middle, and then glorious, beautiful, divine at the end. So it's like, what do you want? Do you want to stay average? Do you want to stay okay? Oh, the most used word in the English dictionary, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, man, you want to be incredible, amazing, divine, magical, blessed.
Totally with you on that one. Let's pick another word.
Another word.
Yeah.
Oh. Can I read it this time?
Yeah.
Energy is everything. Energy, energy, energy.
The famous words of Albert Einstein. How do you feel about that statement?
I think
know it means
Albert
a lot
Einstein
to
as
you.
well. Yeah, like energy is everything. Everything is energy. Do you know what I mean? This table's energy. Everything's energy. Everything carries energy. When you go in a room, it's like, do you improve the energy of the room, or do you bring the energy of the room down? What's the, people who don't believe in stuff, it's like, oh, I didn't like the atmosphere in there. that's fucking energy. Do you know what I mean? That's energy. So like when I first started getting into this stuff and I was like, you know, talking to my mates and like it was like I read Albert Einstein. It was like he was talking about a lot of this metaphysical stuff, a lot of this spiritual stuff, but within science. He was like, you know, there's one frequency or one note of a song that you can hear that can change your life forever, that can heal you. So it's just like to be open and available to everything, you know, to not rule anything out. And the thing is, as humans, we operate in at such a minimal area of our potential. We see 0.05% of visible light and we think we know anything. We know nothing. Like what's going on between me and you now on like that spectrum of light is like incredible. We've got a connection. Our auric fields are like touching each other. These sparks going on. If we could see 10%, we'd probably both faint and be sick because it'd be too overwhelming. Do you know what I mean? But we have to understand that that's the truth and that we know nothing. And like, it's like, wow, that's energy healing, sound healing, whatever it is. It's like, yeah, man. Of course it is.
I feel like it gets used a lot now as well. You know, the true context of the, you know, the meaning of the statement has become diluted and, you know, no judgment, but you know, people will say, oh, I didn't like the energy of that person and I didn't. And I feel like it's such a surface level statement now than what you've just described as what, you know, what it really means.
Yeah, but I think it's better that people are using words like that. Like true. I watch football all the time and I'm like, seeing the words that people use, it's really changed from when I was a kid. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, just things that are, you know, the energy, the vibe, whatever. It's like nice that I was even watching the boxing the other day and Deontay Wilder got beat and he was like, yeah, I just come back from doing ayahuasca, so this really doesn't matter that much anymore. I was like,
really?
Yeah, man. He said it like live on the fight. Like it was, I think it was on the Joshua Bill or something. And I was like, yeah, man, this is like seeping into the mainstream. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, love it.
So yeah.
And talking about energy, the cacao ceremonies, and obviously that's all about energy. Talk me through what actually happens. What can people expect?
To be pushed and to be challenged, to be opened up to new ways of thinking, new ways of being. I transform people's lives in 5 hours. Like, not everybody who comes to but people leave and going, oh my God, I didn't know I had a choice to not be attached to that thing that happened to me when I was 3. I always thought it wasn't a choice. Do you know what I mean? I always thought it wasn't a choice. I could only be angry at situations, but now I realize it's a choice, which makes me a better person to be around. So it's like in a cacao ceremony, I use a lot of just the way I am. When I teach people how to hold a cacao ceremony, it's not how to hold the Liam Browne cacao ceremony because nobody can do that. It's like, what's your unique selling point to use? But for me, it's to challenge people because obviously it's a lot of middle class, upper class people that come to my ceremonies and I'm effing and jeffing. But then when I drop into my higher self and I play the harmonium and I go somewhere else that's not Liam Browne from Wythenshawe from Manchester, which is Liam Browne, cosmic, multi-dimensional, I was going to say human being, multi-dimensional cosmic being. Do you know what I mean? That's when they go, oh, and then they go, but what it's to challenge people to go, well, where is there teachings in things that you're ruling out because they don't fit your lifestyle or whatever it may be? And then to use, you know, mantra is so powerful. Mantra's like, you know, people go to yoga, go to asana. It's like mantra's so much more powerful. But that's why it's higher above asana in the path to yoga. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like people hear about mantras, but again, it's been used quite loosely. People will say my daily mantra is I get up in the morning and, you know, and I have a happy mindset. Yeah,
these are more affirmations. Most of the ones that I do are Indian Sanskrit. There's some Tibetan ones, there's, you know, Islamic ones, there's even, you know, English ones. Like one of my favorites is Bayan Tama. It's a song that he does. It's all that's happening as it is, and there is no need to stress because it's a blessing just to live. And it's in a song of his, and I just use that over and over. So I've made it into a mantra.
Yeah.
When you sing mantra, you're tapping into a vibration of the universe. So whatever that mantra represents, you're calling that in. So if you then start singing a mantra or chanting a mantra, so typically you would chant mantra on a mala bead, so it's 108 beads. The 109th bead is a bead of contemplation, so that's when you allow the energy of that mantra to soak in. So you have to, so sometimes maybe pick a short mantra because some of them are pretty long, so some of them can take like 25, 30 minutes for you to get through. Like the Gayatri mantra, that takes a long time to spit on the mala beads, but you know, you can start with something simple like Ummuksharitam, which is God grant me the liberation, the sovereignty to be at one with universal consciousness. Do you know what I mean?
Or
and
Soham
usually,
even.
Or Soham, Soham, Hong Sao, lots of them. But it's, the way my teacher in India like taught me was like, was like, yeah, it's a cheat to universal consciousness, a cheat to that
cheat code.
yeah, to that energy of that mantra. I was like a fruit machine when I used to bring the magnet down the side, and he went, I don't know this.
Yeah. I don't doubt that he wouldn't know that. He's a man of God. He's not cheating in any way.
He's never been in a pub in Cheadle.
No. I love that. But again, so it brings us back to that whole energy is everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
The cacao that you use from Venezuela, there's a whole energetic thing behind that. Share that story for me.
We went on a mission to try and find the best cacao in the world, ceremonial grade cacao in the world, when was it, 2020?
And also, just explain what ceremonial grade cacao means.
The only definition of ceremonial grade cacao, you'll get yogurt weavers telling you different. It has to be made by a woman wearing a colourful blouse at 3 p.m. and she's a virgin or something like that. But it's just cacao that's a high enough grade to be used in ceremony. And if you come to my ceremonies, you will see that it is a high enough grade to be used in ceremonies, because people are releasing all sorts of shit. The energy, the vibration is incredible. And it's so, like George Foreman said, it's so good, I put my name on it. Yeah, I'm not going to put my name on something shit, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it was basically it's criollo cacao. Typically it's criollo cacao, which is the highest grade of cacao. It would be grown Central South America. You can grow criollo in Africa, but it's typically grown in mono farming, monoculture. So this is all kind of grown in the jungle, in the mountains, companion trees that support it. Cacao's a bit of a princess. It needs other trees around it supporting it, keeping it
attention.
Yeah. So it's kind of there's lots of different varieties of cacao, and then there's lots of different varieties of ceremonial grade cacao. The ceremonial grade cacao is the better cacao, and then it's like wine. You've got the worst wine and the best wine in the world, because after Dragons, then people were like, well, I've went on Amazon and there was a cacao that was £3. I was like, all the best with that.
And this is what I mean. This is, that's the whole reason of the podcast is we need to educate people that it's fine that you say you're buying things from wherever you're buying them from, like most things, but it's helping people understand the difference so that they do buy the quality, because otherwise, how are they going to get power from it? Totally,
yeah. And they can buy the other bad quality cacaos, but it's being aware of it, that it is something special like wine. It has had a lot of thought going into it. I've just been to Venezuela, met all the farmers, met the distributors. I'm getting better supply chains. I've moved into this area of being a businessman, which is super challenging and not, I just like doing my cacao ceremonies, playing my harmonium, changing people's lives. That's my thing. But there's a bigger mission that cacao has given me to do. And I don't want to detract from doing the ceremonies, because that's where I get my most joy from, is people coming to me and going, I came to your ceremony last time.
Well, that's the experience, isn't it?
Yeah, and they go, I've stopped smoking weed, I've got rid of my boyfriend, I've changed my job. And I'm like, what from the cacao? They went 100% from your cacao ceremony. And this is thousands of people. A woman emailed us after Dragon's Den and she was like, I rush around everywhere, I've never got time for anything. And every week I go, right, I'm setting my timer, I'm going to sit on my chair in the kitchen and I'm just going to sit here for 10 minutes and do nothing. She went, and I said, I'm sit there and I hold on, and sometimes I don't make it. She went, but I don't enjoy it, because I'm like, there's so much to do, I've got kids. And she went, I had a cup of your cacao the other day. She went, I sat on the chair, I didn't even put the timer on. And she went, and I watched 2 blackbirds in my garden staking claim for a patch of grass. She went, I think I might have been there for about 35 minutes.
Lovely.
And I read this out in my office, this email. I went, this is why we're doing it. It might get busy, it might get a little bit stressful in the office, but ultimately it's to give people that little bit of space to just drop into the heart center and go, I'm going to have a breath, do you know what I mean, from this existence, from whatever's going on. It's like, if you've not got time for a breath, your life is absolutely fucked.
Because obviously now you're an entrepreneur, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But
Sounds funny, but
I know, yeah. I've never known you for being an entrepreneur.
Well, I was a drug dealer, so I guess that's what.
Well, you were an entrepreneur, just in a different way.
Yeah, I just couldn't tell people.
Actually, you could be really good at this, but your substance has changed. That's all that's happened.
That's basically I don't have to worry about the police knocking on my door, just the tax man. That's all, really.
How are you dealing with that? Because the intention for you is to help people.
Support, empower, inspire.
Support,
I don't help.
empower,
I don't
and
help.
inspire.
Yeah.
And you are now in a position where there's material wealth, and the Liam that I've known for years has never really been about material happiness, not physical things, not money. Now you are in a position to be making a lot of money.
I'm all over that. Like it was basically my journey with abundance started really in 2020, end of 2019. I was in Barcelona and I run out of money. I thought I was going to move to Barcelona and like teach yoga and stuff. And the whole teaching yoga thing is like, if you're just teaching classes and running around, even if you've got a yoga studio, there's a good chance you're not going to be super abundant. You might get by. And I'd written my book a few months before. I put all my energy into that, all my money into that. And I went to Barcelona to start a new life. And I just run out of money and I was like eating at the Sikh temple. And I was like, I didn't have a pound to my name. I didn't have savings. It was nothing. Everything was gone. And I was eating at the Sikh temple and I was like, this is really beautiful that I can get fed for free. But I'm a 37-year-old man. This is not acceptable. I need to now, my spiritual life was good. The way, friendship, everything was good. I was, educated, whatever you want it to be. Everything other than that was pretty good. And I was like, I don't feel like a man. I feel like I want to be able to support a family. I want to be able to support a community. What do I need to do? Because I want to just be in a restaurant and go, yo, I'll get this. Not from an ego way, just like, I'll get this, guys. This is my treat. Do you know what I mean? Because what a beautiful opportunity that is to be able to do that. I just started ringing people and going, yo, like, what do I need to read to step into abundance? I'm a badass at making money. The Badass series of books. Then I read the most pivotal one that changed my way of thinking. Because still, you were like, oh, spiritual and rich, is that a thing that goes hand in hand? But ultimately, if you look deep inside everybody wants to be rich. People will tell you that they don't, and it's the root of all evil. But that's just because they're poor. Yeah, because actually, if I'm rich, I can support, inspire, empower more people. I can support more people within my community.
Your focus just changes, doesn't it?
Yeah, one of the girls who works for me is like, I've got an opportunity to get a mortgage now. Like, she hasn't ever had that opportunity before.
Amazing.
And she's got 3 kids and 4 grandkids, and she's going to buy her house. And it's like, and that's from...
I need to come work for you.
yeah. But, that's like, for me, that because my friend said to me the other day, how does that make you feel? I was like, it's pretty good, man. Like, something someone's wanted to do for 30 years, and by being with us, they've been able to do that. But it was just the science of getting rich was like, it gave me permission, and it told me that God wants you to be rich. If there's one thing more important than anything else, it is to be abundant. Do you know what I mean? You don't ever go to an ashram of Ammas, of Sai Babas, and see poverty. You see opulence, and you see abundance, and in a spiritual way, because they have everything they need and they feed lots of other people. You go to a Sikh temple, they're feeding people. That is an abundant, you know what I mean? I've been to Amritsar and I've been to the Golden Temple. They feed 100,000 people a day. Did they do that without money? You know what I'm saying?
There is this ongoing argument. I mean, I talk about it with my family at home because we have a lot of spiritual leaders. Sadhguru is one of them. Ramdev Swami is another one. And a lot of these spiritual leaders now are being scrutinized because they're making so much money, but they're all doing it in the name of helping people and inspiring people and empowering people and, providing, feeding, help developing them. So I feel like, it seems to be an ongoing issue.
Yeah, it's like, that's what I say to people. People are like, oh, you're all about the money now. And it's like, yeah. So what do you rather me be a banker and wear a suit and kill myself every day and actually be causing havoc in the world? Or do you want me to be doing sending a good message out and actually getting rewarded for it? And that's our exchange in this physical world. Our exchange for service is money. If it was just straight exchange, then we'd really struggle to get everything done. Do you know what I mean? If we had bartering, I barter for things with insert, like when I'm at festivals, I do bartering. Do you know what I mean? And it's beautiful, but it's in that little bubble. Like, I couldn't barter if someone's, if someone like goes, yo, I can give you like a pencil for a bag of cacao.
You can't survive.
It's not fair, is it?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
You can't survive in the world.
It was just so we've got a beautiful way of exchange. And for me, it's like every time that I serve somebody, or every time I send out a bag of cacao, I'm very confident that I'm giving them 7 times at least the value. As long as you're giving people more of the value than they're paying for it, then you're going to be successful in business and life. City or United? City.
We know that about you already.
The end, the beginning.
The end of the beginning. So for me, this is, touching on the subject, which we touched on a little bit earlier. We've learned a few of the benefits of cacao. We know that it's a mood enhancer. We know that it's an antidepressant. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the world is now leading into a new pandemic around mental health. Mm-hmm. Suicide rates are going up. I think last year, the World Health Organization announced that 700,000 people chose to end their lives. Mm-hmm. The ones that we know of anyway.
Yeah.
And then on the depression side, it's the same thing, isn't it? You're spiraling into a space where you feel like there's nothing more you can do other than. And then, like you say, we go into this space that is the unknown that takes them off the cliff, and all of a sudden there's a beginning. Mm-hmm. Because I think depression's even worse. It's 280 million people worldwide are now suffering from depression. In the UK alone, that's 16.7%, according to the World Health Organization. How can cacao help with that?
So cacao can help with that because it's opening people's hearts. It's working on the capillaries and the arteries around the heart. It's also oxygenating the brain. So the only reason depression exists is because people are associating with the mind. Yeah, the mind's not you. You're not supposed to be associated with it. Yeah. Chittavritti narodaha. It's like once you cease to identify with the fluctuations of the mind, then there's yoga, then there's enlightenment. So then there's freedom, and then there's happiness and bliss and anda. Cacao is the only food in the world that has an anda in it, an andamide, which is the bliss molecule. There's no other food that exists on the earth. So it's like, it's helping people on this journey. But for me, with depression and like people thinking about killing themselves, I'm like, yeah, do it, but you're going to come back with exactly the same situation. So why not figure it out this lifetime? Drink some cacao that will help you start figuring out. Bring the things that are out of alignment within you into alignment. Yes, it might be a struggle for a little bit, but are you prepared to push through? Or are you just going to come back with the same circumstances in the next life and get to this same point and kill yourself again and come into a spiral of a loop that you're just going to get stuck in and then eventually fling yourself out? Or are you going to do it now? Do you know what I mean? And I've been there. I was really wanted to kill myself, nearly threw myself in front of a train a few times, like just going, just with a group of friends, and they're all chatting and you're kind of part of it. And then I'm like, this train's coming, but there's part of you that's thrown yourself. Do you know what I mean? There's another dimension. I think there's always other dimensions, like where you've done that. And it's like, it's weird, man, like out of body experiences.
Another reality, basically.
Yeah, I've had experiences like where some guru or something's picked me up out of my car when it slammed into something and just put me at the side, or moved some cars, or like loads of like trippy shit, man. Like I come off my bike one day in the middle of this busy road and I was like, whoa, and I was expecting these cars to just slam into me. And then as I opened my eyes, no cars on the road. It was empty. And I was like, what's just happened? Do you know what I mean? So I don't know what's going. Like, I don't understand the universe fully, but I'm like intrigued by it, and I think it's exciting.
And you're still here to tell us the tale. So.
I'll always be here. I'm infinite. Like if I wasn't here, I'm still here. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's why I live every day. Everything's cool. Like if I die tomorrow, yeah, okay. Like I'm so excited to die. I can't wait, man. I've done ayahuasca. It's going to be like the biggest trip to just go to God and go, yo, what was that? That thing there? Can you tell me what I was like? Yeah, this is like that. It's like, okay. But people go, oh, you're morbid for being excited about dying. It's like, no. I'm excited to live, and I'm going to live as well and as fully as I can, but I'm still going to be excited about dying because that's an inevitable thing,
isn't it? In the moment.
Yeah, and it's like people get excited when a baby's born, but then people don't get excited when someone's dying and they're actually ill and the body's not working. It's like, thank God they've gone, man, because that was suffering. Like,
the suffering.
Boom, you're free of that suffering when you die. It's like your spirit is like free to start to tune into what's my next adventure, infinite, limitless possibility. And that's what these yogic teachings are starting to bring into our Western society, because people go, oh, that's bullshit. Yeah. But, all right, watch Coronation Street, all the best.
Coronation Street. Can tell you're
What's Vera up to?
Yeah.
Year of the Dragon.
So 2024 has been the year of the dragon, and it's been a year for you to be surrounded by dragons, right? So
and I've moved to Wales, so
bear
dragons.
There you go. See, it's all happening for you. I mean, it was really strange to see you on there. You know, it was. I watched it and I was like, oh my god, wow! Like something that I didn't expect you to do, to be honest.
For me, it was to get the message of cacao out to the masses for more people, because like even the dragons, some of them had never even heard of the word cacao.
Oh, I loved the fact that Deborah Meaden was just like out in the first bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you want to know why it was? They didn't put this on the BBC because she got egged in Glastonbury years ago by someone with long hair who looked a bit like me.
You're joking.
Yeah. But you know, that's cool.
I'm still not sure
she's going to hold on to that shit. She can hold on to that. It's nothing to do with me. It wasn't me, Deborah. Yeah. I promise.
But then equally on the flip side, Stephen Bartlett said, I wrote in my book that there was no other business that I would invest in than this because his girlfriend is into cacao and he already drinks cacao.
They already drank my cacao.
Oh, they drank your cacao.
He didn't know until after the show.
No
He sent me a
way.
message. He went, I've just told my girlfriend that we've just done a deal with a cacao business, and she was like, took a picture, and he went, we had your cacao in our cupboard. He went, I had no idea during the pitch. Like,
that's amazing.
So, yeah.
And then Peter Jones, who I think you would not associate any kind of holistic well-being, just ran with it, didn't he?
What I love about that with Peter is like he just saw the business opportunity, which is great.
He always does, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, which is cool. And like Stephen saw both.
Yeah.
And Gary
just
saw
did it for
both,
the love.
but also Gary was like, you know,
he saw you.
Yeah,
I think. That's what I got from
and
that.
I saw him. I've never seen Gary.
Well, you don't like him. He's a Man U player. So.
Well, yeah, but he was like, I thought I couldn't, didn't stand him. And he's actually taller in real life. He looks small on telly.
Is it your brother that doesn't like him, I believe?
My brother doesn't like him. I didn't like him when I was a kid. I hated Gary Neville when I was, you know what I mean? He ruined my childhood, him and his mates.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. You saying that.
Spent my whole life like watching United win stuff.
And how has it been now then since you've been, because I'm always intrigued. It's great. I love watching it. But I always think, where do people really go from it? What actually really truly happens afterwards? How involved are they? Because, we watch so many episodes of Dragon's Den and a lot of them invest in lots and lots of things and they're still doing their own things at the same time. Like, where do they find the time?
Well, they don't individually.
Right, it's their team.
It's their team, yeah. But, I've had a couple of meetings with Stephen, but I talk to his team pretty regularly. They have people that are in touch and support me and kind of go through different processes of upscaling things and putting me in touch with people. And I think one of the main things is about them linking you with other people to work with.
Yeah.
Which has been like, what's the word? Not valuable. Yeah, valuable, but also like priceless.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, and then Gary's just been like my best cheerleader. And he's been really helpful, lets me use his hotels for meetings, has, just been kind of pushing us where he can. His missus loves what we do. His team love what we do. They, we did him a big cacao ceremony for the launch party.
Fantastic.
But yeah, after the episode, it's like tumbleweeds. It's like, you're like, okay, when does anybody contact me now? So you've had like this big, you're like, smashed it, boom, boom. You have to come out. You can tell like your best mates, but you're not even supposed to tell anybody. But I told a couple of people, I was like, because they knew I was going on it. And I was like, yeah, smashed it. Like, got this. Like I say, it's like winning the Champions League behind closed doors. And then you've got to wait 8 months till you can tell anybody. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you have to wait until that episode.
Is that how long, really?
Yeah, you can't even... obviously when they started the new series, I was on the clips from the first episode. So people were messaging me and going, are you going to be on Dragon's Den? I was like, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, you still couldn't tell people even though they used it in the trailer.
I was like, yeah. But I was like, obviously, it's obvious, isn't it? But I was like, just like keeping people guessing and then keeping people guessing. I told loads of my mates, they were like, how did you do? I was like, I fucked it, man. They were like, oh, unlucky. So, and one of my mates, he's just come out actually. He was in prison for 7 years and he was watching it with all his inmates. He went,
in prison.
In prison. He said, like a football match. He was like, come on. And then he said, I thought you wasn't going to get it. And then I thought you was. And then he was like, and then at the end, we were all just going, yeah. It was like, we were like, you'd scored a goal. And it was like, we were all buzzing. So,
aww.
Yeah.
Love that.
Spirituality.
I was really fortunate growing up because it was a huge part of my childhood. Really fortunate to grow up with my grandparents. My parents are very spiritual. I'm still on a journey of, discovering more and more attributes of my beautiful religion. What does spirituality mean to you?
That's just what everything is. That's the only thing that exists. It's like people think they're a human being. We're human beings having a spiritual experience, and it's not. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. Whether you want to identify with that or not, it's irrelevant. It's like, being on a football pitch, kicking a ball about and going, I don't identify as a footballer. It's like, sorry, mate, you're playing football.
You play football,
it's like, my analogy is like the pea in the pea soup. That's like, I'm not identifying as a pea or in this pea soup. And the other peas, but yeah, you're in the pea soup. Then the peas going, no, I'm not in the pea soup. I'm not a part of this. And then the blender comes in, and the peas going, no, I'm not part. And then it goes boom, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I surrender. Yeah, I am part of the pea soup. And that's what the universe, that's what spirituality is. And people like yourself well, I kind of guess it's fortunate or unfortunate. Like for me, it was good to be brought up in nothing to do with that. Like my family think I'm weird as anything, and then it was like the yogic path. But like I say, it's just remembering like all the past lives, or like tapping into people can't believe how quickly I pick the mantra up. But it's like, because I've probably done it before in past lives. I've probably been an Indian. I had one thing where this woman, like my partner, was like, in a past life, he was Lahiri Mahashaya's son, called Dakiri Mahashaya. And I was like, well, that's cool, because I love Lahiri Mahashaya. He's like my G. He's like one of the SRF gurus, and he's like got a beautiful little face. So he's like, he was the person who was pivotal in bringing Kriya Yoga to the people. So Kriya Yoga was just for Brahmins before. It was like an elitist thing, almost like cacao. Cacao was an elitist thing. It was just for the rulers of the empires. Do you know what I mean? And then it seeped into the people, and now it's kind of for everyone. And that's the same thing with Kriya Yoga and yoga in general. It's for everybody now. It's not like exclusive. Yeah, people go, oh, yoga's, you got to have the right pants. It's like, no, you just can do it in your underpants on a mat. You just need a mat.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't even need a mat. You just need a patch of grass. That's when I started doing it. It was just like, did it on the grass.
I remember reading Yogananda wrote, yoga isn't about crystal gazing. It's about the art of super living. And I was like, wow, that's like so powerful.
Yeah.
How does the cacao help with people on their path? I know we say spirituality is everything, but for those that kind of see it as a thing, how does cacao help them on their spiritual path?
Obviously, just having it as a daily drink instead of coffee is so much more beneficial, tapping you into your parasympathetic nervous system, allowing you to be more calm, creative, inspired, heart-centered. The energy of cacao, just as a consciousness, talking about a spirituality, the consciousness of cacao is wanting everybody to be living their life purpose. When everybody's living their life purpose, because that's why the depression exists. That's why suicide exists. If you've got purpose, you ain't depressed and you're not suicidal.
You know why you're here.
So Lady Cacao's wanting everybody to be living their life full of fun, full of laughter, full of joy. And if you're living your life purpose, more often than not, you are living those things. So it's to bring that in. But then for a ceremony, like I always say, like as a yoga teacher, all the little practices and elements that I do as a yoga teacher, my cacao ceremonies are the most powerful, because what's the definition of a yoga teacher? For me to propel other human beings towards self-realization and enlightenment in my cacao ceremonies, that's where I have the most success. That's where I get the best results. If someone come and did a scientific study on, because people like that scientific study shit.
I like facts.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Which get disproven in 20 years. Do you know what I mean? Or whatever it is. But it's like, it's like the yogi and like the breath work coming in now, the Wim Hof and stuff like that. It's like yogis have been doing that in caves in the Himalayas.
The transformational breath work is
for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Brilliant that Wim Hof's doing it. It makes it more palatable for the Western palate. Do you know what I mean? There's people telling me, oh, you're what's it called? Cultural reappropriation. It's like, fuck me, we're all one. Can't do it. There's no people, there's none of the indigenous people. There's no Indian people who go, excuse me, you shouldn't be doing mantra. They're like, you do mantra in England. Like this yogi come up to me, he wouldn't let me on his temple. And then he saw me singing mantra with these kids. He was like, oh, come on the temple. He's like, you teach yoga? He's like, yeah. He went, this is amazing. You take it to the West. You take it to the West. Well, I'm from the West. He was like, yeah, but this is beautiful. Like this is amazing. Like
because true Indians, we're proud. We're proud that it's actually been understood and being seen. you know, because if it helps somebody somewhere for something, then
of course, no one's got ownership of anything.
No, exactly.
It's like me going, excuse me, Brazil, you can't play football because we created that. Do you know what I mean?
You love football, don't you?
I love football. It's just my analogies. My analogies always come to football. I think it's more easy to understand. Power or placebo.
Is cacao another gimmick?
Is it another gimmick? No, I think it's because obviously it's been around for thousands and thousands of years. It's used in a healing modality. It's like actually these plants and medicines come out of the rainforest when the balance between nature and humans has been disconnected. It returns us all to harmony. Do you know what I mean? So it's like this plant medicine revolution that we're living within is to open people up, is to open aspects of them. You know, people think it's a gimmick. Someone said to me last year, 2 years ago, oh, cacao's dipping now, isn't it? I was like, nah, man. Like this
it's not even started.
It's not even started. We're not even at 1% of its potential at the moment. So like for me, it's not a gimmick because, you know, they'll probably later down the line be something else. But for me, this is going to be coming into the mainstream, and everywhere you go, you're going to be able to get a cacao. Like I've been the last few years, I'm like somewhere abroad or I'm in a hotel and I'm just like, right, there's coffee, tea everywhere, but especially coffee because most of it's not good for you.
Sorry to interrupt there, but I really want people to understand the difference. You've told us how amazing cacao is for all the benefits of creativity, focus, you know, bringing calm, bringing inner peace, opening up your heart chakra. Where does a coffee sit? There's
some benefits to coffee in its purest form, but nobody's drinking that coffee. It's very, very rare. It's like less than 1%. So the coffee that you're drinking taps you into your sympathetic nervous system, which puts you into your fight and flight response network, which makes you a little bit anxious, a little bit jittery, a little bit not really like, you know, you can get sweats. Like if I have a strong coffee in a coffee shop, like I'm fucked. Like I'm out of the game. I can't focus, I can't concentrate. I'm just like, but coffee's like this dry, it's almost, for me, it feels like it's the medicine for the 3D, get to work, get through your day, you know, and then come home and people are like smashing, you know, people smashing Monster and coffee are the same thing, do you know what I mean? And people, coffee connoisseurs would be like, oh my God, I couldn't drink Monster. Like you're drinking coffee, it's smack, it's a drug, man. It's a drug that you're addicted to. And what's beautiful with the cacao is that we've had so many people go, oh my God, I've drank your cacao. I still feel stimulated, but I also feel like this vigor for life. Like I feel more connected to myself, more connected to other human beings. I'm like almost being a preacher in my office. Like you need to drink this, get off the coffee. And like people come off coffee really quickly onto the cacao. And it's just, you know, the benefits of it are just phenomenal for women, the gut health, like lead up to period, throughout the period, because of the iron and magnesium content within cacao. Like that's what women get depleted in during the period, during perimenopausal, during menopausal. So if you're a bloke, it's also good for you because then, you know, it's good for the woman and for the man, do you know what I mean? Or the woman and the woman, whatever, you know. And so it's like, it's good all around. So it's like that cognition, that freshness, that breather within your mind if your thoughts are getting out of control, that heart open, that curing and exercise of the heart, the capillaries and the arteries around your heart, which are getting cleansed and purified with cacao, which are getting clogged up by cow's milk. That's why I never drink cacao with cow's milk. You can drink it with cacao's milk, but we don't recommend that. You can do what the hell you want with it. We aren't your boss. Do you know what I mean? We just have, this is how we would drink it. This is how we recommend it. There's some like people who think they know more than me that say it should be drank bitter just with water. And it's like, no, it shouldn't. You know, you can drink it out as long as you're getting the cacao in yourself. Yeah, don't put refined sugars in it, but the medicine will do its work. You know what I mean? I would not be where I am now if my cacao tasted bitter and unpalatable. So I sweeten it, a little bit of agave, a little bit of coconut sugar, pinch of Himalayan salt, you know, and even just agave, coconut sugar. Oh, there's another option to silver spoon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To refined processed sugar. People are, oh, right, okay, we'll use that. And like people start and buy, where do I get that from? And it's like, you're opening people up to so much more. And coffee is just like, it's just this, it's a habit. Do you know what I mean? It's a habit. When I observe it at events where there's a coffee thing and people just go there, boom, you know what I mean? Coffee. Yeah.
They feel like they need it as well. They can't function in the day if they don't have a coffee.
And I'm heavy duty at like the Yoga show or the trade events and stuff, because people come and bring their, like they go, come and watch this guy. And they're like, he's amazing at sales. And I'm like, I don't do sales. I've just got a product that I'm passionate about. I don't know. If I was like your stand, I couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I'd probably give better energy than, because I could, connect with people. I'm like, excuse me, do you want a little sample of cacao? You tried cacao before? No. Do you like love, abundance, and joy in liquid form? No. I was like, all the best with your life then. There's one will go no, and then another friend will come over and go, can I try?
Yeah, actually,
I'm like,
might just
when her
give it a
face
shot.
lights up, I went, you're not allowed any. You've made your decision now. You're done with, walk on. But I do let her have some in the end.
Yeah, amazing. Listen, I could talk to you all day because this is so in my zone. This talk, you've really opened up just information with regards to cacao. There was so many things there that I didn't know about, particularly the benefits for women around the perimenopausal, menopausal times, even during the menstruating cycle time. So I think, there's plenty of things for people to give away. If you have learned something today in our podcast that you did not know, drop a comment below. If you are watching our episodes and you haven't yet had an opportunity to subscribe, please do. It's really important. And this just opens up to more conversations with like-minded people that hopefully inspire and empower you to become the best versions of yourselves. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Liam, for being here. Thanks.
Lots of love.